Hey families, this presentation is about what to expect for in-person learning. For the things that we're going to remind you that if you visit the NPS website, there's a site dedicated for in-person learning where you can watch a lot of videos related to how to screen your child home, what are the expectations for the school, for the bus ride. So I would suggest you visit that site, get more info there. Health check at home. So it's important every morning before you send your child to school to check temperature that must be below 100 degree. Check for symptoms like a cough or that getting worse or just starting. There's some difficult breathing, change taste or smell is very yes unique to COVID. So make sure if that happens, keep your child home. Sore throat, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, chills, muscle pain, feeling very tired by headache, running nose. So we follow the recommendation from the CDC that routine temperature checks are not necessary at the school. So your child won't go through that process all the time in here. Only if the nurse or the staff think that is necessary. So when you keep your child home, this our recommendation for everybody, including staff. They have symptoms of illness, they feel ill, or they have temperature 100 higher. You're waiting, or somebody at home is waiting for COVID test results. They test positive from COVID. They have been told to stay home by a medical professional. Any close contact with a person that has been diagnosed with COVID is you recently travel, have been directed to stay home per current Center for Disease of Control guidelines. For mask recommendation, we strongly recommend a mask that have two or more layers and washable, but most important, they are breathable fabric, completely cover the mouth and the nose of your child, fit snugly against the side of their faces, and don't have any gaps on it. So, a student that wear a gaiter is recommended to have two layers or folding to make two layers, and those are the ones you have to avoid. Some masks are very thin that you can see through. They have the ball and the N95 that are dedicated for healthcare workers, and also face shield. Some staff's gonna be using face shield plus mask. We do not recommend those for children. So we're expecting students to wear the uniform once they come to in-person learning. So to remind you, the top part is the teacher color red, dark blue, or white. And for the bottom, we use color dark blue or khaki. Mask is going to be required to wear all the time, and that can be customized to the style of the child. Pick up and drop off expectations. You're bringing your kid by car and you're picking them up by car. So it's important to know how to do it. So Sheridan is in the corner of Broadway and University. So to pick up and drop off, we're asking you to go down University. In front of McDonald's is our first entrance that lead you to the office. That's not the one you're going to follow through. You're going to keep driving down University until you get to the second parking lot. That second parking lot is a huge parking lot. So we're going to follow this kind of like a driving through process. Through door number 11, we're always going to have a staff receiving your child. And by the time you pick them up, we're going to have a staff with some walkie to let the other staff inside to know what is the name of the child you're picking up and bring it to your car. So we do not recommend parents to get out of the car. Bus arrival, students have to staff gonna always help them to get in outside the building. Specifically, we want them to maintain social distancing. Hand sanitizer dispenser have been placed in all entrances and exits. So every time a student coming from the buses, they're gonna be using those, and leaving as well. They can use them. For bus dismissal, every class have a assignated time to go to the buses. They need to wear their mask because that's a requirement to ride the bus. And they're also going to have a assigned seat to make sure they social distance. If you're picking your child by walking because you live close by, so all those kids that are being picked up by parents and walking, they're going to go to the playground to wait for their parents. The parents or guardians that are picking the child is going to be required to wear face covering and maintain a social distance 6 feet. Parent guardians are no to walk up to or wait at the student entry exit door. So we're going to ask parents to separate themselves from the exit door. Parents and visitors will not be permitted in the building without an appointment. A student walking home is recommended that they stay away from non-family members and wear their face covering until they arrive home. Homework will be safe during the classroom. So the staff receiving the classroom, the teacher or any staff by the door is going to make sure they have anything needed. We're going to have extra mask if they need a mask. They're going to have some hand sanitizer for them to clean their hands before entrance. And we're going to make sure they enter one at a time. A student personal belongings is going to be placed in a special space for them. Every teacher have their own system. Some of them use locker, hooks, or designated area or top. The students are going to be responsible for managing the materials and personal belongings. And for the little one, teachers are really good at showing them how to do that and teach them the routine. Staff who enter the classroom with the intention of staying and working with students, they're going to be always required to sign in and sign out to keep track of how our staff is moving around the building. How much it will be safe in the hallways. So hallways already have stickers on the floor that show students a fetal separation. So they have been placed around the building. The students need to wear their mask all the time. And the staff's always going to make sure they follow the protocol and keep social distance. What about drinking water? So we are asking families to send your child with a water bottle labeled with a name. We're not asking you to bring the water, already filled up with water because we already have filter water dispensers that we're gonna be using in the building. So it's not necessary to bring those filled up because accident happens, and we don't want them to get their things, their belongings wet in their backpacks. The water bottle is gonna be sent home every day so you can clean it. During playground time, we have two designated areas outside our building. We call zone number one when the playground is, zone number two when the open field is. Students have to wear their mask and no more than two classes at a time is going to be outside. They're going to be rotating per day, zone one or zone two, so all the kids can have the same opportunity to play in the two different spaces. Um, so we also gonna follow a very strict schedule to keep kids playing outside. In case of inclement weather or temperature below 32 degrees, we're gonna make a student receive their hours of recess indoor, and we have a protocol for that as well. So during eating breakfast or lunches, how we're gonna keep kids safe? Every adult that is supervising lunches or breakfast, we have all the equipment necessary to keep them safe. Spray bottles with hand sanitizer and special solution to clean spaces. The supervising staff for meals, when they pass around the meal, this is gonna be the last thing they're gonna be passing around, and they're gonna make sure to use scissors to open them, and they have to always wear gloves. Breakfast will be delivered to each classroom every morning, and every teacher is going to teach students the protocol and their routine to eat the breakfast in class. Classes have their own schedule to go to lunch to maintain social distances. Um, for the students that bring their own lunches, the teacher is going to teach them how to grab their lunches, bring them to the lunch space, and then bring them back to their belonging space so nobody else can touch their lunches. All the meals that are given at school gonna be pre-packaged. Every student gonna have their own container. They have to remove their mask for eating, and we're gonna provide them with paper bag for them to place the mask. Once also we're gonna remind them once the meal package open, they cannot exchange, they cannot make sure they don't touch each other package. Trash for meal when they're eating in the classroom gonna be placed outside in the hallways so Every student can go and throw away their trash, and the teacher is going to have assistant to do that in a safety way. So what happens is your kid, other kids does not feel well at school. So we suggest this is no, we suggest this is our protocol when the kids doesn't feel good. The health office is gonna be informed. We got backup staff to come to the classroom and remove the student, escort them to a special space we allocated for students. For this particular case, we call the caring room or salón de cuidado, where the nurse and the health staff will check up the kid, and you're going to be notified via phone or whatever means necessary to let you know to pick out your child, and the contract tracing protocol is going to put into in effect. So I know there might be more questions from you. So anytime, please contact. You can contact Senora Guzman, is our lead on overall COVID plans. We have our nurse Katie, that for any health concern, if your child have an IEP or you have a question about special education concern, you can check with Miss Aiden or Nurse Katie. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. See you next week. Have a nice weekend. Take care.